Jesus is a really good player. I think his link-up play is great. His press is probably one of the best that I've seen.
What about Watkins? Watkins or Jesus?
I'd have Jesus over Watkins, but I do think I would have only Tony over Watkins.
Jesus right now over Ollie Watkins.
Watkins is a good player. I like him, but I feel like
Watkins.
all round, I think Jesus is a better footballer than Watkins. Yeah, definitely.
You right now, categorically, you can say you would take Gabriel Jesus over Ollie Watkins.
Yep,
100%.
100%.
I think Ollie Watkins is a very good player, but I think you're underappreciating Gabriel Jesus.
No, but if you put Watkins in an Arsenal team, he scored 16 or 18 goals. How many last year for Villa?
Different system.
He's outscoring Jesus 1,000,000%. He's already scored more than any player you've got other than Saka, isn't he?
I don't know how many goals Watkins has got.
I think he's got 6 goals, 5 assists in 12.
We got 4 of those against Brighton.
Doesn't matter if you can't see what Watkins is doing, mate. You can F off down to Birmingham City.
I don't think. I like Ollie Watkins, and I'd take him over Eddie Nketiah all day long. But I'm not so sure I would take him over Jesus. But
I agree.
What about Callum Wilson?
Nah.
Isaac?
Yeah, I'd take Isaac. I think he's class. Absolutely love Isaac. But I think Jesus is, for me, a really underrated player. And I think a lot of people see him as he wasn't good enough for Man City. I think he won 7 trophies with them.
And the thing is as well, most of his games, he didn't play through the middle for City. They played him out wide.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Well, they had Aguero, didn't they? But I feel like a lot of people are now looking at them comments and just shitting on Jesus. And I think it's unfair, personally. I think it's a silly comment to make.
It is unfair, but I do respect it.
Yo, sorry about that, guys. My internet's acting.
No, it's calm, Miguel. Don't worry about it.
I was just gonna say,
Henry's asked, trying to tell me that we would be better with Callum Wilson or.
I didn't say Callum Wilson. I said Ollie Watkins.
Jesus. I'd rather have Jesus than Watkins. Is that a mad thing?
Also, Miguel, just before you come in, mate, Henry's also rewound what he said about
this is madness.
Jesus as well. He forgot what he told me on a private thing. He forgot what he did on a TikTok. He's now
hang on. No,
coming to terms with the duplicity that's going on here.
On a TikTok, I said Gabriel Jesus is not good enough for Arsenal to win a Premier League title. As a number 9, he's not. Let's be real. Name a Premier League team over the years as a number 9 who hasn't scored minimum of 16 goals. You can't name one.
Man City.
Other than Bobby Firmino.
Man City.
Erling Haaland scored flipping 38
before Erling Haaland. Let's be honest.
It was Jesus.
Man City. Exactly. It was Jesus. And sayonara. Yeah. All I'm saying is I don't think Jesus is good enough.
Let me just land on this quickly. I need to talk about Arsenal's PR team. You have Ramsdale coming out saying he's bad at concentrating. You have Zinchenko saying he's bad at defending. You have Gabriel Jesus coming out saying he can't. His main attribute is not goal scoring as a striker. Why are they not talking? I'm pretty sure Mikel Arteta does not want these guys coming out in interviews telling our opponents their weaknesses.
Yeah, but at the same time, I bet you in the next year, Zinchenko, Ramsdale both leave, and there'll be big question marks over Jesus if you sign Tony. So,
I don't think we're going to sign Tony. I think that Jesus is getting disrespected based on what people are saying about him last night. The other night, what people were saying about him is utterly disrespectful. The guy has scored 1 goal in the league, yes, but he hasn't played much this season in the league compared to how much he's played in the Champions League. In the Champions League, he's played with the best, some of our best teams and some of our best players, and he has 3 goals in the Champions League. He's one of the top goal scorers in the Champions League. What is that? Fireworks?
Wow, Sean, that is incredible.
That caught my eye right there. But yeah, I want to give Gabriel Jesus a big shout out. Because he's being honest. He's saying my strength is not my finishing, not goal scoring, finishing. Everyone knows he's not a good finisher. What he's good at is his all around game, which maybe makes me think let's utilize him as somebody who can play across the front 3, bring in another striker, and having him as another striker option would be amazing. But some of the people saying play him left center mid like Joe Linton, we might try it, but I don't know if that's the way to go. I think people need to relax with all the Joe Linton comparisons, because comparing him to Joe Linton is a little bit too far, in my opinion.
Would you?
I don't like. Would you have
Ollie Watkins over Gabriel Jesus?
100%. Not even 100%.
Would I have Ollie Watkins over Gabriel Jesus?
I think
he's a better finisher. I would rather have Ollie Watkins over Eddie Nketiah.
That's what I said.
Oh,
but-
you started getting me going there. You was like, he's a better finisher. I was like, come on, I'll just say it. Get it. Come on, let's get it. Let's get it out.
Ollie Watkins this season has been the second best striker in the league. No debate.
For me, like, for like, I'm not putting Haaland as number one. I don't care if he scored 12
different
goals.
system, different circumstance.
Yeah, but
Man
like,
has 6 goals, 5 assists. Aston Villa are fifth in the
It's a
table.
completely different
Big
style
part
of play.
of it.
Aston Villa play a completely different style.
he's playing shitty. Sorry for swearing. Stink house, Brexit, like get a goal and sit back. Now he's that's the style Emery plays. As soon as they get a goal, they wait for you to come on them and then they just counter.
What, Aston Villa at home? No, they don't.
They're not watch them away from home.
We're going to find out on Sunday, aren't we? But I know. I'm very much aware of how Villa
that's
play.
disrespectful to Emery, man. He's been quality with a
I'm Emery's biggest fan. Everyone knows I'm Unai Emery's biggest fan, but his style of play is get a goal, wait for you to come at him, and then he counters you.
Listen, I think Ollie Watkins would be a good signing for Arsenal. Don't get me wrong, but I think we're underrating Jesus for what he is. And Ollie Watkins, like when he's like been asked to step up, I looked at his England performances. The ball don't stick to him, man. The ball don't stick to him. He's got to have it in front of him. Jesus can hold it up, link up play. The ball don't stick to Watkins. That's why I take Tony all day long.
Yeah, Jesus is all round games better, but as a number 9, you've got to take
Watkins. This is what I would say. We have one more issue. If he continues to get injured every season, and this turns into Thomas Partey 2.0, that's where we have to move on. That's where we have to move on. And maybe when we have him as a secondary piece similar to City, we now know why City didn't have him as an out-and-out striker playing week in, week out. Because 1, he breaks down quite easily, and 2, he just maybe not suited to every game.
It was trending on Friday, right? Is Bukayo Saka world class?
I don't care.
No.
Yes or no, is he?
No.
I don't think it matters.
Or just as a debate, yes
or
no?
That is Egal's way of saying no, he's not, but I can't admit.
You want to know something? I personally think my definition of world class, Bukayo Saka doesn't feel it yet because he hasn't won anything. Once he same way how I was saying Harry Kane is not world class or Son is not world class.
Hang on.
Harry Kane is not world class.
No, because he hasn't won anything.
Does that make Ryan Bertrand because he won the Champions League world class?
No, obviously there's different levels to it. So I'm being flippant when I say this. But the reality is Harry Kane, you could question his criteria.
But being world class, in order to be world class, you have to have played for one of the best 2 or 3 teams in any league in the world. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. You can't be world class.
Okay, so this is where now we can have this conversation. So if you're going to say that Bukayo Saka has to be one of the top 5 wingers in his position or to be considered world class, then I do consider him world class. If you're going to say he has to be the best in his position to be considered world class, he's not the best in his position. And
top 3.
If you want to say top 3, name 3 Mo Salah.
Maybe for positions.
Okay,
where
so if it's even if the criteria. Okay, so now we're talking. Even if the criteria is top 3, then Bukayo Saka is world class because I think he's top 3 in his position. I don't think Ousmane Dembele is better than him. I don't think.
What about Sane, Rodrigo?
I don't think they're better than him. I think Saka.
Sane's got 20 goal contributions already.
I think Saka and Salah are the 2 best right wingers in the world right now.
Not Rodrigo.
Rodrigo, no. Rodrigo's not better than Saka. And even if you want to put him in the conversation, you can put him 3rd if you want. The reality of the situation is,
like we're talking about big moments. He comes off the bench and gets a brace against Man City, puts him in a Champions League final.
Are we comparing a guy who starts week in, week out for one of the best teams?
He does start week in, week out when he's fit. He's just injured at the moment. He started every game. He hasn't come off the bench yet for Real Madrid. He started every game.
Rodrigo has not been
the
doing
biggest team in the world on the right, winning Champions Leagues.
This is what I mean. So if you want to go based off trophies, let's go based off trophies. But if you want to go based off perspectives of where you put him top 3, it's a subjective decision. Personally, for me, I have Saka as top 3 in his position, easy.
No, I think Rodrigo's come off the bench once or twice. I could be wrong on that, but he's still class. What about Sane then? Sane, 8 goals and 6 assists in the Bundesliga and scored in, I think he's either scored or assisted in every Champions League.
Where's he playing? Is he playing on the right now?
Is he a right winger or a left winger?
He's playing on the
right. On the left, but fair enough. He's right now, is he?
They've got Coman on the left. They've got Musiala at 10, and then Harry Class, you know the rest through the middle. Who, by the way, is the best player in Europe.
Okay,
right?
expression.
Harry, Class A, you know the rest.
Best player in
Man's
Europe right
moving-
now.
Man's moving like expressions.
He is.
I rate him.
Harry Kane right now, he's the best player in Europe, without a doubt. Without a
Bellingham.
doubt.
There's a
There's
guy
no
named
doubt
Jude
Harry
Bellingham.
Kane is world class. There's no.
One
like,
second.
Harry
There's a
Kane's
guy
world
named
class.
Jude Bellingham. There's a
Yeah,
guy
Bellingham,
and
named-
look
I'd
at
say.
Kane. Kane has got
To
25
be fair,
goal
Kane has,
contributions.
yeah,
in
that's a
12
good
games.
shout, Henry. To be fair, Kane has fucking smashed it.
If I'm not
Smashed
mistaken,
it. He's
Jude
gone over to
Bellingham.
Germany and said, Lewa who? Who is that?
If I'm not mistaken,
Every
Jude
goal
Bellingham,
record
is,
smashed.
Jude
so
Bellingham
far.
is the most informed player in the world, no?
Not at the moment, it's Harry Kane.
Yeah, Harry Kane's a striker. You got a midfielder who's played 11 games.
He's
has-
got
Actually,
9.
I'm not sure that's true. I think the number one striker in the world on form is the fella from Stuttgart,
Not overall goals this season.
Garassi. I think he scored more goals per games, or more goals per minutes than anyone. I think he's the.
Yeah, but he's not
informed
doing
striker.
anything in Europe.
Hey, honestly, it's
can't.
debatable. It's
Yeah, but
debatable.
Kane's getting
Let me bring it back to Bukayo Saka. Henry, let me bring it back to Bukayo Saka. So, take away trophies, because clearly you rate Harry Kane as world class, even though he hasn't won a
let's talk
trophy
just
yet.
on ability.
So, if you want to just go based off ability, what does Bukayo Saka have to be? Does he have to be top 3 in his position? Because if you're saying top 3 in his position,
That's what I want to know. Definitions.
Is he a
I did a
better
show on
footballer
this
than
the other
Mahrez?
day. I did a
Is he
show on
better
this the other
footballer?
day.
What?
I think top three in your position.
One second,
is
Henry.
world-class
Did you just
unless
mention
you are in a
Mahrez?
position-
Yeah, let's rewind 6 months. Mahrez was balling out in a Champions League final.
Bro, what are we doing here?
Is Saka a better footballer than Riyad Mahrez as a footballer?
Not
Bro,
this
is
season.
Mo Salah a better footballer than Riyad Mahrez? What are we doing here?
No, I'm just saying, as a footballer right now, can you say Bukayo Saka is better than Mahrez?
I could say the same thing about Mo Salah.
Yeah, I know you can. That's why I'm asking you. Is he a better footballer than Riyad Mahrez?
It's a redundant statement because you don't have to be a better footballer.
Okay, so right now,
you don't have to.
If
you
you're
don't have to
picking a
be-
world 11, do you pick Saka over Riyad Mahrez?
Yes, 110%.
Potts?
Nah, man, I love Mahrez. I love Saka.
Okay,
but
Mahrez is literally retired in Saudi Arabia.
All right. He's not really retired. That's a bit disrespectful to the league. You could put an 11. I bet you could put an 11 in Saudi together to beat Arsenal.
I think retired is actually fair because you got people taking handballs just to get the ball away from a defender. It's mad.
Hang on. Just because he's played, okay. Does that mean Messi's retired because he's in the MLS? Even
Basically, Messi's not in a serious league anymore.
It's a really bad
But doesn't
example,
mean
mate.
he's
It's a really bad.
retired.
Don't use Messi to justify your point, Henry.
Nah.
Okay, what about Cristiano? Okay, what about Ronaldo, who scored more goals than anyone in Europe?
Bro, do you think anyone rates those goals the same way
Look
they
at
rate
he's
the goals
playing with
they rate?
Talisca. Who
Bro,
even is Talisca?
I don't think people look at Ronaldo's goal record in Saudi Arabia and say, wow, he's keeping on pace with Erling Haaland and Harry Kane. I think people look at it as, yeah, he's in an easier league. Of course he's going to score goals.
Okay,
I
but
think there's criteria. I think we're going off with the topic.
back to the question.
for me.
You would take right now Bukayo Saka based off this season's performances over Riyad Mahrez.
All right, okay, Henry. Name me all the right wingers that are better than Saka. That's an easier question.
Sane, Rodrigo, Mahrez, and Salah.
Okay, so you think
This
top 5 in the
season we're
world?
talking about. This season.
Yeah. As in, like right now.
Right now.
You're doing it based on form.
Fifth.
But if you're not doing it based off form, then what are you doing it based off of?
So you picked you picked Sane, Salah, Rodrigo, and who?
Mahrez. In a big game, are you
What has
trusting Bukayo
Mahrez
Saka
done?
or Riyad Mahrez?
What has Mahrez done this season?
Well, scored for Al Ali. what else do you want him to do? He's playing in Saudi. What else do you want
If
him
we're
to
going
do?
right now, then obviously Mahrez is kind of out of the equation, out of the picture. But as a
Henry,
footballer,
come
I
on.
rate Mahrez highly. But
I
I
don't
think
even know-
You
I
can
don't
rate-
even know how
you
many
can
goals
rate-
he scored for
You
Saudi.
can rate Mahrez on his past success outside of Europe.
Yeah,
Let me
on
ask
this
you a
season, I
question.
don't know. Diaby
He's
and
got-
Villa
he's
have
got
been-
5
Diaby
goals
and
in
Villa
7
have
seasons.
been
Let me ask you a
great this
question.
season.
He's even
Let me
got
ask you a
more goal
question.
contributions than Saka.
Let me ask you a question. The greatest Egyptian footballer of all time, Abu Treka. Do we consider him one of the best players in football history? No,
No, just
because
like
he
you
never
don't consider the guy that scored 100 goals for Iran.
played in Europe.
Okay, right, but Riyad Mahrez has got 5 goals and 7 assists in 13 games. So he's got more goal contributions.
And you want to know
than
something?
Saka this season.
I don't think majority of people across the world right now, if you ask them who has more GA right now, Riyad Mahrez in the Saudi league or anybody in another league.
Okay,
Of course,
let's rewind 6
they
months.
would expect Riyad Mahrez to have more GA in that league. He's in the Saudi league, bro. You throw Bukayo Saka in the
Okay,
French
let's rewind 6
You throw
months.
Bukayo Saka in the German league.
Go back to 6 months, the end of last season. Forget what they've done this year in Al Ali and Saka's performances. You're still taking Riyad Mahrez.
No, you're not.
But Potts?
Listen, I'll say it like this because it's easier for me, right? If I'm signing a player, I'm signing Saka.
Yeah, because he's younger.
Because he's younger, he's got potential.
But as a
100.
footballer,
As a
is clear.
footballer, what Mahrez has done, you can't deny what Mahrez has done, right? He's been unbelievable. He just won a treble, for goodness sake, right? And he's a big part of that as well, because people forget about that. He scored a hat-trick.
So is Messi still a top 3 winger in world football?
Messi will always be number 1 for me, mate. I don't care how old he is. If he's 107,
Okay,
he's
so
always
then
going to be number 1.
Your
But no,
criteria are different than
let
mine.
me say it like this, because I had this debate the other day and I did a show on it, right? And this is what I've got to. World class for me is different to what everyone else is. Everyone's world class.
Yeah, subjective.
Everyone's right. Everyone's got a different definition. For me, world class is you come into that side, you start 100%. You are the starter in that team. And I don't think Saka's that guy, right? So for me, in the Premier League,
starts for most teams in the world.
decided that Alisson is a world-class player, that Rodri is a world-class player, that Haaland is a world-class player, that Kevin De Bruyne is a world-class player, and that Salah is. They were the only 5 that we could think of. There was other people like Ruben Diaz we mentioned, Kyle Walker was mentioned, Trent, Robertson, all these guys were mentioned, but we had debates more about them. Them 5 are the ones we spoke, and I actually agree with that. I don't know if there's anybody on this or in the chat or in this one that can say those 5 players don't get into any team in the world and start and make them better. That's just the way it is. So in Premier League, they're the 5 for me, 100%.
Well, there's only 5. 1 second. So Tottenham have 0 world-class players. Arsenal have 0 world-class players.
Yes.
Chelsea have 0 world-class players.
Yeah, there's only City and Liverpool.
Liverpool have 2. Man City have a couple, and the rest of the league has 0. That's what you're saying.
Hang on, so Liverpool have 2. So Alisson, Salah, and Van Dijk?
No, Alisson and Salah were agreed. This is what we agreed. Whether this is open to you guys to disagree or agree. We agree in the whole of the Premier League, there are 5 clear world-class players that cannot be deniable. You cannot debate them.
So
right?
Rodri.
And they are Alisson, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, and Haaland.
You want to know something? Based on my criterias, Arsenal has multiple world-class players at this moment in time. And I will name those.
Oh, Gal, come on.
No, based on my criteria, you have to be top 5 in your position. So Bukayo Saka's top 5 in this position. You have Saliba, who's top 5 in this position. You have Martin Odegaard, who's top 5 in this position. And last year, Thomas Partey.
Odegaard is top 5 players in the world as a cam.
Yeah, last season he was. And just going into this season, he hasn't been good. So
let me ask you one question, Gal.
Oh, we do.
Go ahead.
Just on Odegaard. You got to pick a 10 in your team. Odegaard or James Maddison?
I would take Odegaard.
Potts?
I already had this debate and everyone laughed at me because I said Maddison.
Fair enough.
I love Odegaard, but I think Maddison is unreal. I wanted him and I love him, and now I hate him because he's gone to Tottenham. Sean, what about you? Would you have Maddison or Odegaard?
Madison.
Okay. Are you saying that?
Odegaard had a very,
are you saying that as a
very
Spurs
good year
fan, or are you
last
saying that as a football fan though? Because you laughed when you said it.
And as a football fan. Yeah.
Okay.
No, listen, I think Odegaard's a great player, but the way that Igal just suggested he was in the top 5 cams in world football.
You got to respect it because at least he backs his players.
No, it's chest. It's chest. But
like, it's
Hammer Anderson is jealous, mate.
Listen,
about chest.
Guys, Declan Rice is knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Who would you say are top 5 DMs? If Rice isn't in there, so Rodri.
There is no top 5 DMs. There's one DM that's world class. The rest are shit.
Kimmich
is not world class.
Well, you have to be
Rodri.
If the definition is best 5 in the world, there has to be at least 5.
Okay.
That's how the rules work.
Right now, I don't think that's one position that is tough to rate 5. Think about it.
You got Rodri.
Same as right back. It's tough to find 5 right backs to consider world class. I think it's different for each category.
That's fair enough. Do you know what, right? Right backs, and I honestly believe it when I say this. If he could stay fit, I think Reece James will be phenomenal. I honestly think he is absolutely exceptional. But he just can't stay fit. But I don't think there's any others that are like clear. And this is why I'm saying like I'm not saying there's only 5 world-class players in the Premier League, but there's 5 that you can't deny aren't. And that's why I brought it up. So, and it's different opinions. If you want to talk about the top 5 players, then Igal's got a point. Saliba's up there. He's definitely in the top 5 centre-backs in world football right now. You know, Saka is definitely one of the best. So you just admitted it, Henry. He's number 5 when it comes to right wingers. So that's fair, but
that's my opinion. I'm going to get clipped up by a gal saying Saka's not in the top 5, or someone in this chat's going to clip me out. I know how this
Just
works.
say Saka's world class. It's okay.
I personally don't think he is. I think he will be.
Listen, we got to wrap up, man, because we've been going for hours.